Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Colin, Taylor, it's really great talking to both of you today. Your names are vice versa on my sheet, and it got thrown off when you were sitting. I was like, oh, what? Anyway, great talking about you. I'm really enjoying Dear Edward today. Yeah, the mirroring.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Whoa, what?
Whoa. Wait, who are you both playing in this show? Wait a minute. I'm just kidding. Now, Taylor, I read that you were super interested in Jason Katims' work. I mean, I love Friday Night Lights and Parenthood. What is about him as a writer and a TV creator that draws you in, either as the actor or the viewer?
I mean, I just always found like with Friday Night Lights for whatever it was, and I came to it later. I didn't watch it when it was happening or airing. There's something really courageous about how vulnerable and heart forward Jason's work is, and that it's not clouded up with a lot of. He doesn't cloud things up with a lot of intellect or like cool things, and there's like a sense of like a very private sense of surrendering as a viewer into his work. It's just like it's just like me and I don't know. He's sort of like an auteur. He's like a TV auteur to me. It kind of I also felt like kind of know what you're gonna get. It's interesting. It's an interesting world to explore.
Absolutely. I totally get that auteur feeling, especially with how his shows are shot. They feel
Uh-huh.
more like cinematic than just your average TV procedural or anything like that. I think it's really great. Colin, I think it's fascinating in the show to have the lone survivor of a big accident be a child. Were there conversations with you or anyone about how children grieve versus adults?
Oh, that's a good question. This is a question I've gotten
That's such a
before,
good
but I
question. I
feel
haven't heard
like
that
it's,
yet.
I feel like there's a lot of different answers, way to answers. Um, but I guess what you're asking, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more I think I don't think children. I think sometimes children might not understand. Obviously, I can't speak for all kids in the world, and I don't want to invalidate anyone. But I think to a certain extent, kids when handling grief, um, may not understand why they're feeling a certain way. They might not be able to identify it as well, and that's why they kind of need someone to help guide them through their grief. Because if they don't have that, then I think a lot of anger can build up inside of them, and it can come out in
Wow.
different ways, and that's not a good thing. So, I think
Wow.
when
You're
we're not getting grief,
That's
we're not
amazing.
getting grief. We need someone to guide us, for all
absolutely.
ages.
Yeah. Oh my God, definitely. Holy cats. Wow, geez.
Holy cat.
Taylor,
That just
there's a
blew my
line in the
mind.
show that says,
Yeah.
sometimes our path chooses us, is said to Adriana, Anna's character. Do you feel like there's been something in your life or career or personal that chose you versus you choosing it and chasing it
Oh
down?
wow. I didn't know that was in the show, but I feel like that could be like the title of my book that I will not write. Like yeah, like that it's a yeah, I mean, I kind of think that that's the whole everything. You know, I don't really think that there's anything that you can steer or shoehorn into being in a lasting way. Everything in my life that has had any staying power, I've just received. And it's just up to me to be willing to be interested in it
Yeah.
versus my idea of what I want.
I love that. This is like I got the wrap, unfortunately. This was a great conversation.
And
So
that was a really great question. It's refreshing to get a question like that. Thank you.
oh my God, thank you so much. That means a lot. I know you guys sit through this all day long, so that really means
Yeah.
a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a good day, guys, both.
Hi.
Hi, Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Anna, it is really great talking to you. I'm really enjoying Dear Edward. So thank you for the time today.
Yeah, of course. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Now, Jason Katims, known for Friday Night Lights, Parenthood,
Uh-huh.
two shows I just love.
I know.
What is about him as a writer, a creator that draws you in, either as the actress or the viewer?
You get a lot of real people in his work. I remember binging Friday Night Lights as a middle schooler and thinking to myself that I wanted Connie Britton to adopt me. He creates families that you want to be a part of because you've experienced what you're seeing on the screen. He's just so good at replicating real life and creating characters and situations that you can relate to over and over and over again. So there's just something so enticing about the stories that he tells.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be a Braverman. I got to like football because of the East Dillon
Exactly.
Panthers.
I don't care about football, but I did when I was watching Friday Night Lights. It mattered
Oh
suddenly.
my God, that got me through the pandemic very early on. Now,
Seriously, yeah.
there's a line directed toward your character that really stuck out to me that says,
Mm.
"Sometimes our path chooses us." Do you feel like there's
Woo!
been a moment, I know, right, in your career or in your personal life that chose you versus you reaching for something?
Yes, yes. So, about 5 years ago, I graduated from college and my grandma died, interestingly enough. And it was the day of her funeral, and I had the choice between going to her funeral or going to a callback for Once on This Island.
Stop.
And my mom looked at me and my mom said, "Your grandma's fine. Go to that callback." And I went to that callback and I got my Broadway debut. So
Okay,
yeah.
I
So
could go on
yeah.
that show. Aaron's
Mhm.
and Flaherty's score is
Mhm.
so beautiful. It's
Yep.
why we tell this story.
Yep.
Oh my God, I got like half.
And
I got what.
and and you know what the kicker is? I book the show, I start rehearsals. The stage manager is showing me around the theater and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, we would like to incorporate photos of loved ones that have passed as part of the set. Do you have anyone that has passed recently that you would like to honor?"
I love that story so much because it's so personal. I also just love that show. That
Yeah.
show is so beautiful. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, does working on a show like this about grief and seeing it from so many different viewpoints affect your own outlook on grief? And maybe your own grandma's death did some of that too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely learned that grief includes every single emotion in the book. You're dealing with really heavy material, you're talking about loved ones that have passed, but yet you're cracking jokes and you're laughing. And some of the jokes are a little bit morbid. And like, I kind of have a morbid sense of humor. And sometimes we need that laughter to heal us. And it's medicine, truly. And so I think if anything, you learn that there's no one right way to grieve, and then it can happen in so many different ways.
Yeah, that reminds me of the line in Steel Magnolias. I think it's Dolly that says, "Laughter through tears is the best emotion." And I always like hang on to that to
There
get
is
me
a
through.
fine line between laughing and crying. Very
Mhm.
fine line. Yeah, and
There
you need
is.
both.
Without spoiling anything, what would
Yeah.
you like to see for a season two? I mean, do you know if there are conversations about that and like what you would hope for Adriana?
I mean, there's so many places it could go. I feel like we are just getting started with Adriana. Like she is just starting her career as a politician and coming into her own. Um yeah, I would love to see more friendships created, more girl friendships. I think that would be really helpful to her. She's gonna need a support system if she's going into politics, and she needs some girlfriends. And Natalie is super instrumental, but yeah, I think she needs a friend group.
Right, right. Now get Connie Britton on the scene. Like just
Yeah,
plug her
yeah.
back in.
Yeah, we need cocktails with Connie Britton.
Absolutely. Now there's something about the show with the way that it's structured and very kind of individual stories. Did you film it episode by episode, or did you kind of do all of your chunk, your story at one point, and then how did that all work?
Yeah, so episode 1 was by itself, and then every other episode we would shoot in 2 episode chunks. So that meant I could shoot scene 1 from episode 2 and then scene 10 from episode 3 in the same day. But it was only within those 2 episodes, and you would have the same director the entire time. So there was a bit of a scrambling, but for the most part, we were going in order. And the directors were so helpful and always being like, "Okay, here's where you are in your journey. You like him, but you haven't slept together yet, but you have held hands. So this is how you're interacting." So it's really important that they're always there for you the whole way, which
Right.
they
And you
were.
can't pretend that you know what's going to happen at the end of the season and play those
Exactly,
emotions
exactly.
too early on.
Go in order. Yeah.
Right. And I got the wrap. This has been incredible. Thank you so much. I love that we got to
Yeah.
bond over once on this island because that,
Oh, yes.
again, so great.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Yeah.
rest of your day.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Jason, it is so great talking to you today. I really am enjoying Dear Edward and such a great addition to your really lengthy, fantastic work. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now you've created the series from the book of the same name, and I'm curious, How did you work with the author and kind of merging both of your visions?
Yeah. Well, I read Ann Napolitano's novel. I loved it, really loved it. I thought it was so moving. And I talked to her about it and said, like, I had ideas to make it into a television show by adding some characters, changing some things. And, she gave me her blessing to do that. She said, like, look, I wrote this novel, that's there. I don't need the television show to be exactly the same. I just want it to have the same sort of essentially the same heartbeat and the same soul. And I, agreed on that. And so she gave me the freedom to do that. And I'm very excited with what we were able to do because we were able to expand the cast and create, roles like the role that, Connie Britton is playing and really makes the show for me, has made it so exciting to work on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're so perfect at finding the heart and soul of characters and storytelling. I mean, speaking of Friday Night Lights, you're working with Connie Britton again. This like got me through the early stages of the pandemic. No joke. Now, did you write with her in mind? And were there conversations about making sure that Dee Dee was far removed from who Tammy Taylor was?
Right. So when I first came up with the character of Dee Dee, I wasn't thinking of Connie because I don't usually think of actors, but I just loved this character. I loved her so much. And then when we started talking about casting, I was thinking who would play Dee Dee, and Connie just came into my mind. And once she came into my mind, I thought of nobody else for it. And so the way that it happened was it was so simple. Like like you don't think it's going to happen this way. I gave her the script. She said, I really like this. And it just started. She's loved this woman. And I think part of what we were both so excited about is she was so different than Tammy Taylor. And I think that kind of freed us to like never feel like, oh, we're just trying to capture the old magic. We were basically like, I got to work with this wonderful actress again that I have such a great shorthand with. And it was very collaborative, our working together. But we got to do it on a character that was so different than Tammy. And that just made it fun. She's so fun. I mean, every time she comes on screen, I just smile,
Oh, I love her storyline and the way that it's developing. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm like, ooh, this is juicy.
Yeah.
And not like in a
Yeah.
scandalous, but it's great. Now you've written for network television before, obviously, but creating something I feel like for streaming is very different. Did you have more creative control or think you could do maybe something different knowing it was on Apple TV?
Well, we had great partners, creative partners at Apple TV Plus. I mean, all of our executives are amazing and really wanted to support the process. One of the things that you have when you do that I had on this show anyway was I had more time than you usually have. Broadcast, I love broadcast television, but it's fast, man. It moves so fast. And so we had a lot more time. So even, for example, like working with Connie, we had so much more time before we started shooting to discuss every script, every scene that we normally would have had in broadcast. So it just gives you more time to really find all the layers that you're hoping to find in the show.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing that. The creativity there is so great. I got the wrap. Jason, great talking to you. I love the music in this, like all of your shows. And hopefully someday we'll see more of the Bravermans too, because Parenthood.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.